Hello and welcome to Breakdowns, where we talk about building portfolios, approaching art, and a bunch of such stuff. In today's episode, we talk about how you can create a product explainer video portfolio page and some things to keep in mind while presenting or prepping up the same. So, this was a project I worked on quite some time ago, actually, during the tough pandemic times. And this was for a furniture company that was then looking to expand into slightly different space to cash in on the sanitizer market. I was quite the hustle, honestly, to get this video done in just about 4 to 5 days, right from script to final render. Anyway, that's a story for some other time. This video is more about how exactly you can create a portfolio presentation page for a video gig in general. And of course, there are a bunch of advantages of making a portfolio page, right? In terms of landing more gigs, in terms of being able to show your expertise and skills to the world. I talk explicitly about the advantages of portfolio pages in general in this video. Do check it out to understand what it takes after creating a portfolio page as well, so that it ticks all those boxes that you want it to. Alright, so getting right into the meat of things. When you create a portfolio page like this, of course, the idea is to first start with a strong cover that kind of gives you an idea about what the company is about or what the product is about. Basically, a chance for you to showcase the company logo, if I want to put it very crudely, right? Then we get right into the overview, always having a paragraph that describes the project or the brief about what exactly we intended to do with this video helps just set context for everything else that follows in the page. Some imagery from the video itself. Now we can talk a little bit about the structure, right? In this video, for example, we wanted to sandwich the solution or the feature section of this particular product in the form of animation to explain some nitty-gritty with live action footage at the very beginning and the very end. So a little bit of that explanation comes through over here. Basically, whatever context you want to set in terms of how you structured this video in your particular project goes in this space. So how we actually move from section to section, just kind of a few screens of the same kind of go in there. Then we get to the script. Basically, we're talking about making a 2-minute video. So you're looking at a script of about 200 to 300 words. This is something that you could consider, of course, putting the script itself, but it seems like a nice section for the user or for potential clients that you're pitching to understand exactly how your process in doing a task like this is. Maybe your quote is also broken down in this form where a script has a particular amount associated with it, etc., where you've broken it down into different stages. So I had made a video in another series of ours, Professional Playbook, in terms of how you could approach a product explainer script using a structure like, say, the problem solution structure. This, of course, didn't really require a structure like that, and it had its own nuances in respect to what the product was, which is why it had a slightly different approach from a narrative perspective. But then moving on, you kind of then want to show the art, the icons, if at all there's animation or typography or some motion graphic kind of elements in this particular product explainer video or any other video for that matter, right? So here's a little bit about the art style. Maybe if it was all live action, the mood board would look very different. And here's an example of how we did it for a short film. And if at all you were making a portfolio page of a short film, video for another time. But basically the idea is, again, like I said, a mood board, in this case a footage palette, just to kind of give the user a little bit of an idea of what kind of imagery you use to narrate the story of the script, right? Little bit of information from an edit perspective. Now, if at all this was a music video, for example, you're talking about how you make it choppy, you make it fast, some of the effects that were used. Here, of course, we're talking about something that I had mentioned in the structure in particular about starting with live action and then a little bit of a montage, a little bit of where exactly it could be used, and then moving into the animation sections itself. Here, of course, in this particular piece, I haven't put the animation because it has been called out somewhere earlier in the portfolio page, but largely you get the idea of what this edit section could be. Maybe it's not editing if that's what you want to show at the forefront of this particular project. It could be more from an animation perspective if you want to dive deeper into some of the principles that you've used in making this video, whatever it may be. And then, of course, it is a video gig, so it is imperative to show the video at the end of the day, which is what this is.
As we look forward to getting back to work amid the ongoing pandemic, we are all concerned for our safety at our workplaces.
Right, so very similar to the structure that I had mentioned earlier in terms of using live action or footages and then slowly getting into the animation piece itself Maybe first starting off with some levels of motion graphics, then a transition into explaining how exactly this particular product works.
AI Shield is your perfect solution. It uses the active agent reactive saline quaternary ammonium compound, a charged polymer, to form a virtually irremovable coating. When any microorganism comes in contact with the treated surface, AI Shield mechanically stabs its cell membrane and then electrocutes it, leaving it completely ineffective.
So through the animation, we talk about the different features just to kind of make sure all the important information about the product is communicated. And then finally, using the typography as a segue, we move into live action at the very end again to show where all we can very easily deploy a product like this. Ending with the final reveal / CTA, or from a brand recall perspective, right? Like I'd mentioned in the product explainer script video, how important it is to have that brand recall in the very end. And yeah, that's kind of what this video was, and how exactly you can create a product explainer video portfolio page. If you found this useful and it helps you with your hustle, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.